everyone. Welcome to another episode of High Stakes with Steve Rozenberg. And today I want to talk about something that's really pressing, something that's definitely coming down the pipeline. You've got to understand that this is something that affects everybody, and it is called a recession. Now, we all know, and if you watch the news, which I try not to watch too much of the news, but you're always going to get clips and everybody wants to talk about it and all this other stuff. But the fact is, there is a recession coming, and there's actually a recession that was just announced the other day that we are in a recession. One of the biggest challenges when you're a business owner is, what do you do in a recession, right? What are some of the things that you need to start thinking about when you're in a recession? Do you spend more? Do you focus on your business and maybe start doing some different things and going off into other categories? Or do you dial in and just do one thing really well? Everybody's going to have a different opinion, and everyone's going to have a different strategy for what they're going to do based on a past experience. So a lot of times when people fear something, fear is caused by something that's happened to you in the past, and that's causing you to make a reaction moving forward. So it makes sense why you may or may not do something based on a past experience. The thing is, though, if you're in a business and that business is new and you've never experienced something like this before, what do you base it on, right? Now, the reality is there definitely are people that are spending less money on things. And if you have a service that is maybe something that's a secondary thing, maybe something they don't need, right? You've got consumables and things that have to be done, and you've got other things that are not as important and they're not needed, right? So the question is do you have something that's a primary need? Toothpaste, shampoo, or maybe not shampoo for me, but shampoo for people. That's going to be something that people are always going to buy. Now, they may buy lower grade stuff. My good friend Brandon Turner, who invests in a lot of real estate, he always talks about mobile home parks are the bottom of the compression spring. Well, is your product something that's at the bottom of the compression spring? Is it something that people can downgrade to, or is it something they're going to downgrade out of, right? Because with not only the recession, you have inflation, which is tied together, but the dollar and where their dollar, used to buy them 2 candy bars, maybe now buys them a candy bar and a half. So they don't get the 2 candy bars anymore, so you can't sell as many of those. So you've got a lot of people spending less money. I will tell you, one of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is they stop focusing on the one thing that makes them money. That one thing is called marketing. Most people look at marketing as spending. Marketing is not spending. Marketing is investing. And you have to understand that you've got to learn that you have to invest to get those people. Because here's the thing, as most people are running out of the game, they're running out of being, whatever it is that you sell, there's a void there. Who's going to fill that void? Somebody who goes into that market. That's why it's called market share. You're sharing that market, a big piece of pie with other people. When people leave that, someone is going to get that piece of the pie. If you market and you focus on going after those people, you can do that. You've got to, the challenge is if you focus on not marketing to people, essentially what you did is you took your open sign that's outside of your business or your virtual business, and you just turned it off and said closed. Because in this world of social media and everybody vying for attention, obscurity is going to be your biggest challenge. Being obscured and nobody knowing who you are is going to be one of the biggest challenges that you have, and you have to overcome that. So one of the things that you need to do is you need to, I think, double down on marketing. You need to go after those people, and you got to make sure that you are not running away from them. Don't be afraid because everyone is getting out of a market. Now, if you have a market that people are still buying, then I would say you need to double down on the marketing. One of the other challenges that people do in a recession is they don't go back to their warm database, right? If you were smart enough to collect the data of people that you've done business with or people that you had marketed to in the past and you have that database, database is oil, right? It's the gold. It's what you can use as currency now. So if you have a database, you can go back to that database and start mining that database because that's what's considered a warm lead, right? They know you. Hopefully you have some sort of email drip campaign that's been sending them information over time, or at least they know something about you, because if they're in your email database, That means you must have at least talked to them at least one time. Go back and start creating things and start doing surveys. What's important to them? Reach out to them and ask them, hey, how can I help you? What is it that you need that my company can solve, right? You did business with them once, right? How do you get them to keep purchasing from you? Also, think about creating some sort of referral program. You want to take those clients that are good clients and turn them into raving fans. Get them to want to keep buying from you. That's what marketing does. You've got to increase your bandwidth. Maybe what you did leading up to this point will not be what you need to do when you exit this, meaning what you did leading into the recession, you may look like a completely different company leaving the recession. Don't get caught up in what you sell. Get caught up on the experience and the result of what it is that you offer. Many people get caught up in the product. I don't think that's the right move. I think what you could do and what you should do is I think you need to focus on getting caught up in the results of the product and what you're giving the client. Really think about what are you doing and market that. Market yourself. Don't just try to be better. Do something to be different, right? Go into that blue ocean that no one is. Be different by marketing to different people if you haven't already marketed to them, or offer a product that you haven't sold before if it's something that the industry that you're in now needs. So again, I think one of the biggest challenges that people have is they don't understand that marketing is the main thing that you need to focus on in a recession. It's not becoming a better operator. It's not becoming a better accountant. It's making sure that people know who you are and making sure that you're not caught up in obscurity and that you're doing something to make sure that everybody is thinking about you, everyone is looking at you, and everybody wants to know more about you. That to me is the key. When you can do that, you're going to be much more successful, because the reality is there are going to be a lot of people that do not make it in this industry. There's a lot of people that don't have the right financial books. As we're going into the recession, I would ask, what are your capital reserves? How much money do you have in reserves to make sure that you can weather the storm? You know, when it's the seasons, you've got summer, spring, then you got fall. I'm sorry, you got summer, fall, then winter, then spring, then summer, right? So typically, we're not shocked when all of a sudden after fall, it becomes winter and gets cold, right? And then we're not shocked that when spring happens and all of a sudden starts warming up and then summer's hot and then it goes through the cycle, right? That's the cycle. Business is the same. Business is no different. You've got summer when everyone's making money. Then you got fall, it starts slowing down. Then you got winter. That's a recession, a depression, a market correction, whatever you want to call it. And then you got spring. Well, I would say it's probably a safe estimate to say that we are going into winter. And when you're going into winter, you've got to be prepared. The way you got to be prepared is you got to have financial reserves, you've got to invest money in marketing, and you've got to go after your current target database. Go after the people that know you, get them to ring the cash register over and over again by getting the transactions up per client, because when you can do that, you're going to bring down your acquisition cost. So bringing down your acquisition cost, instead of that client costing you $5 or $10 or $1,000 to market to them, well, every time they buy, that number goes down. It's not going to go down from 1,000 to 500 because you've got other expenses, but it's going to go down. And every time they ring that cash register is one less time that you've got to go out and you've got to market. So just make sure that what you're doing is getting the right people to market to, the right database, and the right clientele. That's going to be the key to make sure that you're going after the right people. So remember, always do what you need to do to get the right people and make sure that you're targeting them correctly. Don't be afraid that winter's coming. It's okay that winter's coming. Just make sure that you're prepared, make sure that you're marketing, and make sure that you're going after the right target base. So I hope you like this. Please make sure you share this, because a lot of people are going to need to know this information when the recession hits. Like it, share it, comment. I'd like to hear what you think. I'd like to know what you're doing for the recession. And don't forget, if you want to learn more, please click on the link to learn more about my business mansion mastermind in Houston, Texas, October 12th through the 14th. We're having Mr. Brad Lee. We're having James Lawrence, who is the Iron Cowboy, 2 Guinness World Records. We've got Dr. Kevin Elko. This guy is Nick Saban's coach, along with many other head coaches, football teams, athletes. 32 championship rings this guy has, and he gets you on the right mindset. My very good friend Errol Allen. This guy is the systems and policies and procedures expert. And then myself, all wrapped up in a 3-day business mansion mastermind here in Houston, Texas. So make sure you click on the link to know more about that. Share it, like it, comment, and we will check you guys next time on the High Stakes with Steve Rozenberg. See ya.